Hi, I'm Ohad. A few words about myself. I am originally a software engineer. I worked for several software companies. I taught in this, actually in this room, Java for a few years. My office was second floor. Then I joined rECANATI Business School. I joined the Technology Management and Information System department. I teach 2 courses on the MBA, Agile and Lean Software Management and Digital Platforms in Business. The second one would be handy in this particular talk. I'm currently interested in contemporary software development, digital platforms, big data, crowd and social networks, and I also have a video blog in Hebrew, Intertent, and another one called rECANATI TV, so you are welcome to check it out. Today we're going to have a crash course on information systems and digital platforms, a taste. Then we're going to inspect how this applies to crowdfunding platforms. And at the end, as Chaim promised you, very promising and interesting results from our recent study, Success and Reciprocity, on crowdfunding platforms, a joint work with Dr. David Svelechowski from rECANATI as well, and Yael Inbar from rECANATI, who also did some of these slides. So thanks, Yael. Thanks, Yael. And okay, let's begin with. The physical world is being projected into this computer, into everyday computer, cell phone, PC, whatever, and it changes the world, and we want to measure, to learn, to really understand how. How does this digitization of the world is changing itself? 15 years ago, it wasn't so much of excitement. It was about ERP and CRM, which are not, by the way, technology or computer systems. They are about the business process. They are about the managerial decisions that are only encoded. The CRM and the ERP, the software is only the front end of these business processes. Recently, it became much more interesting because take shopping, for example. Amazon captures the essence of shopping and bring it to the online world, but also adds some elements of its own. The better together, people like you also bought. Do you want to buy also, or take, for example, eBay. eBay can't have happened in the physical world because you need everyone to have access to the internet. Everyone can be a shopper and a shop owner. And once these websites mature, they become platforms. And platforms bring with them new mechanisms. They redesign the physical process. They bring new abstractions. They create ecosystem, and they are used in surprising ways. To be concrete, think about Facebook. Facebook brought your social life into the computer, but it also changed your social life. It introduced new abstraction as like, or what is the definition of a friend in Facebook. You can think about marketing campaigns targeted at gaining likes on Facebook, or revolutions in the Arab Spring that Facebook was not invented in order to encourage them. So let's see how it applies to crowdfunding platforms. Crowdfunding, lots of people give little money over the internet. Our next speaker is going to speak about many aspects of these platforms, so I won't steal any punches from them, but only few statistics that Chaim stole, few of them from me, but nevertheless. So this is a screen capture of Kickstarter statistics from yesterday. We can see that $600 million of were spent on more than 100,000 projects, which is kind of an interesting phenomena. Kickstarter also gains some the attention of the media. 10% of the Sundance Film Festival were crowdfunded. 2 nominations for the Oscar. 1 comic book in the top bestsellers of the New York Times. So if you think Kickstarter, you probably think about, I don't know, Pebble. They want only $100,000, but raised $10 million. It is a huge, huge success. It is the biggest success of Kickstarter. But let's look into the numbers. Here you can see in this row a number of projects by the amount raised. So out of 44,000 successful projects in Kickstarter, most of the projects, I have this one. Most of the projects are here. 30,000 projects raised between $1,000 to $10,000. It's pocket money for VCs. When you think about Kickstarter, don't think about, there are some very nice successes, 40 projects with more than $1 million, more than 600 projects with more than 100K, which both these categories are relevant for VC startup context, not VCs. But when I think about Kickstarter, I think about this project. These 6 little girls, elementary school in Bowling Green, Kentucky, had a science project. They wanted to send a big balloon to the stratosphere with a camera, take photos of Earth, and bring it back. They needed $3,600, and they raised more than $5,000. This is a typical Kickstarter project. Don't think startup, don't think VC. Kickstarter is not for these projects. These are the outliers of the platform. 100,000 projects, and only 700 of them are in the scale that interests new startups. So, Kickstarter chose a model of all or nothing, which means that the project owner needs to set the goal that he or she wants to raise and need to set a date. If by this date the amount was not raised, no one pays nothing. The money is returned to the backers. About half of the platforms are using this model, but there are also other combinations. In this particular case, the project owner wanted $66,000, raised only $21,000. Time is up, no one pays nothing. And if you think about 44% in a VC context, it is a huge, huge number. But for this guy, he is the one that among the 56%, and we want to help him. We want to know what makes a fundraising campaign in a crowdfunding context successful. So this is our research question. What makes a crowdfunding campaign successful? And by successful, I mean raising the goal within the funding period. There are about 4% of the projects that raise the money and do not deliver. But this is a risk that you take, and this is a relatively small risk. 4% is quite small. So let's think about crowdfunding. It's starting with fundraising, like this Red Cross guys that are asking for money. It continued with Twitter, for example, that this is a UN refugee agency that are crowdfunding in Twitter 2 years ago, and they had some nice success. And nowadays, this is how Kickstarter looks like. In this project, we can see an initiative to create a tripod for your iPhone in the shape of a key. This tripod is needed $30,000 in order to materialize. It has 26 days to go and $6,000 already raised. We said platforms, and I mean that Kickstarter, by design, chose what to highlight and what to hide. For example, they want to highlight how much money already was collected, how much is needed, how much time is needed. They want to highlight the properties of the owner. And in particular, they want to say how many projects did this owner created in the past, but also look, 29 other, this project owner backed 29 projects of others. He gave money, he or she, I don't know, it's a company, gave money to 29 other projects. If you click this link, you can navigate to these projects. And if you click on these projects, you can see their backers. Every project has a backers link here. If you click it, you can see all the backers. And if you choose a backer, a funder, a guy or a girl that gave money, you can go to his or her profile and see how many projects did he or she created, how many projects he or she backed. These guys, Simon Kwan, is also a creator by himself. He backed 55 projects and created 4 of his own. His or theirs, their own, because they're companies. So, okay. So, if we want to analyze the success factors, we need to take a multidimensional approach, because fundraising by itself is not enough. If you read the fundraising literature, you're probably familiar with the criteria for fundraising success. Most of it is the properties of the entrepreneur. The experience he or she has learning. For example, if I had many projects in my past, many successes, maybe if I failed a few times, I know better now. So it might help me. Reputation, social capital, how many friends do I have? Friends in the real world, friends on Facebook, friends among the VC community, friends among other project owners, among other entrepreneurs. But this is only one dimension. Once we are doing this fundraising online, we are in the business of online communities. Digital platforms nurture online communities. People come to this site over and over again. 25% of the backers in Kickstarter are repeated backers. They backed one project, they back another and another and another. And a recent result here in Tel Aviv says that socially involved users are more likely to pay. So if I can engage people with the platform, I will increase their propensity to pay. And I may think about viral marketing, about identifying key figures in the community, community leaders, hub, salesperson, mavens. It's the viral marketing language, and address them, and they would create a trend that would help my project. So our research recently submitted to a very respectable information system conference, crawled all Kickstarter, all the data, we downloaded all the data. It took us a few months. We cleaned a bit of the data because some of the projects asked for less than $100. Some of the projects were not interesting. They had 0 backers or 1 backer. So we ended up with 68,000 projects, 60,000 project owners, which means that some of the project owners are serial entrepreneurs. They have one project after another. We can see that there are 3 million backers, which on average back 2 projects. There are some that have much, much more. We did some big data analysis, and what we were interested in were these people playing both sides of the market. Backers that are also owners by themselves. We asked ourselves, why do they do that? One thing that comes to mind is direct reciprocity. You gave money to my project, I gave money to your project. But we also found that there is an indirect reciprocity. I see that you give money for many projects. Although you did not give money to my project, I acknowledge your contribution to the community, and I pay you back. It's like karma thing. The really interesting thing starts here because it's go also on the opposite direction, which means if I want to create a project 1 month from now, what would be a strategic behavior of mine? Start backing other projects. The numbers are amazing. If you back other projects, you increase your success rate by 84%, and this is a significant 3 stars result. Every project that you bake, increase your success rate by 6%. I know an entrepreneur, an Israeli entrepreneur, that already backed 132 projects. Most of them were given only $1. But he knows the thing. He knows that he wants to create a community. He wants to create a visibility. He wants to be part of this game. This is another example. As much project as I back, the more backers would back me. This is really, really significant and interesting. So let's sum it for a second, and then a last result. Projects rated by owners with backing history have higher chance to secure financing, have more backers, have higher goals, and raise more money. So, out of 3 million backers in Kickstarter and 60,000 owners, we have 34 people that are both backers and owners. These are the leaders, because they're different for people who are just backers, and they are different for people that are just owners. They create more projects and succeed more than the owners, and they back more projects than only backers. They are the power users. They are the community people. I have the numbers, but our time is up. So let's sum it up. We think about crowdfunding as an owner and a crowd. Actually, this owner is some backer in another project, and in a macro, there is a network. It's not a crowd, it's a network. So, we heard about the crowdfunding platform. We heard that it brought new dimensions to this fundraising game. Backing others pays off. Sub-community of backers, owners, they are the power user. You should address them. You should cling to them. You should back their projects, because they would back you and they would create a buzz for you. Thank you very much. We have a question session at the end, so